Good afternoon and welcome. Glad to see that you could join us today. So let's get started talking about WWDC. That's Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference 2023. So this is Go for Lunch for June the 6th, 2023, brought to you by GoFor Technology. I'm Roger Harmon, your host. And if you're new here, please type new in the comments so we can get to know you. Our mission today, as always, is to make your technology work for you. So, WWDC, this is a week-long event that occurs every June, and it is started yesterday with the keynote address and will continue all during the week with different presentations for over 34 million Apple developers around the world. So it's being held at the Cupertino Spaceship campus of Apple Computer, and it looks something like this if you're there in person. This is the cafeteria looking out into the center of the spaceship circle with large screens so everybody can see what's going on. So welcome, Judy and Carolyn. Good to see you here. Glad it's getting to be a habit. So today we're going to talk about some of the presentations. So there was a MacBook Air with a 15.3-inch screen, Mac Studio upgrades, Mac Pro with an M2 Ultra chip, iOS 17, and Vision Pro. And there will be more about the things presented at WWDC next week. So looking at the MacBook Air with a larger screen, 15.3 inches, it is the world's thinnest 15-inch laptop, weighing just over 3 pounds, and it has a bright screen, M2 processor, 18 hours of battery life, and it will be available next week. You can order it now. So here are the major features. It has the MagSafe power adapter. It has a Touch ID, so you can log into things with your fingerprint on the Magic Keyboard. And it has a silent design because there is no fans. The engineering is such that it dissipates the heat. Has a beautiful liquid retina display. You can be configured with up to 2 terabytes of solid-state storage storage and 24 gigabytes of memory. It has a 6-speaker sound system and 3 microphones that go along with the 1080p camera. So it's great for video conferencing like Zoom and FaceTime. So the existing lineup now will be the M1 13-inch at $999, the M2 13-inch at $1099, and the M2 15-inch at $1299. Next was the Mac Studio, shown here in a typical layout where you would add the screen, the keyboard, and the mouse to the Mac Studio computer. And it is now available with the M2 Ultra chip. Here are the features. So here in this column here is the M2 Max, and then in the second column here is the specs on the M2 Ultra. It has lots of inputs. It can have up to 192 gigabytes of memory and up to 8 terabytes of solid-state storage. It can support an 8K monitor or several lower resolution monitors, and it is 6 times faster than the fastest Intel-based iMac. I think this was maybe a little mistake here. They're showing Mac OS Ventura, but the new Mac OS is Sonoma, and we will talk about that on a future presentation. Somewhat of a surprise is the Mac Pro. So this is their desktop machine that features 6 PCI slots, so it can be customized for different types of workflows. So this is popular with video editors, high-end photographers, publishers, and scientists who have lots of computing to do. It can support up to 6 monitors, has 8 Thunderbolt 4 ports, comes in a rack-mounted version if you like, and it is up to 7 times faster than its predecessor, the Intel-based Mac Pro. So I'm guessing not too many of you will be ordering this, but it's nice to know that they have now completed their transition from the Intel processors to Apple Silicon. So this was the last machine to be configured with the M series Apple Silicon chips. So then they introduced iOS 17, and here's Greg Federucci telling us that the features include communication, sharing, intelligent input, and new experiences. So contact posters is a new experience. So these are posters that you design. You put the picture of your choice. You can choose the font, the colors, and even an emoji. And then when you call somebody, this is what will appear on their screen. So they'll get a full screen representation of the custom contact poster that you have created. So that's kind of fun. This is a great feature, is live voicemail transcription. So even when your phone is locked, your call screen will show a live transcription of the call, of the voicemail message. So this will be a great way to screen robocalls, and you can decide whether you want to block the call right then, if it's a robocall, or accept it. So another nice feature to control your phone calls. This is something that I've been doing for years manually. It's called check-in. So when I travel, I tell somebody when I'm leaving, when I expect to arrive, and then I check in when I arrive to let them know that I got there safely. So this automates that process. So this will show the person that you checked in with, your location, your battery, your cellular. So that's all down here at the bottom. So you can see here it also includes Wi-Fi and cellular signal strength and the condition of your battery. Even includes your Apple Watch battery. So if you are delayed, you can extend the time and they'll get that information. And when you arrive safely, they'll get that notification and know that you are where you wanted to be when you wanted to be there. So check-in is a great feature. Now you may have heard that Google and Apple are collaborating on trackers. So that whether you have an Apple iPhone or a Google Android phone, they will let you know whether you're being tracked by somebody else's tracker. So I think this would be a good collaboration between Google and Apple, so that if someone had an Apple phone or an Android phone, they could use this check-in feature. So Google and Apple, hopefully you're listening and you'll get right on this. Easier AirDrop and name drop. So this is a way that you can exchange phone numbers or photographs. You decide what information you share so you don't overshare, and then you simply place your iPhone close to another iPhone, both which would be operating iOS 17, and that transmission of information is done automatically. It even works with an Apple Watch and an iPhone. And they didn't say, I'm guessing that it also will work with an Apple Watch to Apple Watch, but I don't know that for a fact. So these are things that will be coming out in the next few weeks, and we'll let you know. Then there was one more thing. Apple Vision Pro. So Tim Cook introduced Apple's augmented reality headset. This is the front of it, and here is a side view. So it has a curved glass front and a face-fitting piece here, a nice wide strap that's cushioned in the back, so it's comfortable to wear and blocks out extraneous light. So it's called Apple Vision Pro. It has 12 cameras and 5 sensors. So the way it works is you just select an icon on the screen in front of you with your eye, and then to activate it or launch the app, you just put your fingers together. And it has an external 2-hour battery. This is what a lot of journalists have felt is a downside, but Apple chose to have the external battery to keep the weight on your head to the minimum. So down below in the YouTube description, there is a link for a video which does an excellent job of explaining how this works. Now, I was on the Apple site a few minutes ago and it was running a little slow. So if you go to watch that video right after this and everything is slow, then, make an appointment with yourself to come back and watch it later, because there seems to be a lot of traffic on the Apple website right now. So this is what it would look like through your Apple Vision. You would look at a app such as the Notes app here, and it would track your eye movement, and then you would just bring your fingers together to launch the app. And this is called augmented reality because it is laying this. It's an overlay, is what I'm trying to say, on what your environment is in your particular setting. So you can also have different apps up at the same time, and you would move those apps with hand motions. So this is a PDF here on the left. This is a Safari screen in the center, and the Messages app on the right. So you can have the equivalent of 3 or even more monitors. So it's also set up to work with video conferencing like FaceTime, Zoom, and Teams. So here are the other participants in this video conference. They are sharing this keynote presentation here, and it can be done anywhere. This is in a hotel room, so it can travel with you. So it's set up to watch sports. You can have multiple screens, some screens with statistics. Probably you will even be able to have different games on different screens at the same time. And also it will be optimized for gaming. Here you see someone using a third-party controller to play this basketball game. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, made an appearance pledging that Disney content would be available on the Vision Pro at the time of launch, and I'm sure that the Apple TV Plus content will also be there. So there'll be plenty of content so you can watch movies and TV shows through the Apple Vision Pro and get the equivalent of up to a 100-foot screen, or at least it'll look like that to you. So when you look through the Apple Vision Pro, you will be seeing 23 million pixels. So it's very high resolution, and it will give you very dynamic and beautiful images. If you wear glasses, you will be able to order Zeiss corrective lenses, and they will just magnetically attach to the eyepieces inside the Vision Pro. So it is powered by an Apple Silicon M2 chip and the new R1 chip. So the R1 is the one that handles all the functionality of the Apple Vision Pro. So here you can see the down-facing cameras. So those are the ones that pick up your gestures. And then in the front, there are 2 main cameras that actually video record in 3D. So you'll be able to record in 3D, and of course you'll be able to watch in 3D through the Apple Vision glasses. Apple's trademark privacy and security is in the Vision Pro. All the functionality is done on the device. None of it's sent to the internet. So your information and your activities are private and secure. Even your face is private, so they have optical ID, which will identify you so a stranger can't, or even another person in your life or your office won't be able to put them on and use them, because it'll be set up to ID your face. So this is the most advanced personal electronics device ever. It's not just from Apple, but from any company. So it's a real breakthrough. It's a new way of computing, and it will be available next year for only $34.99. So obviously this is going to be something that developers will be buying so that they can modify their apps to work with Apple Vision Pro, and then early adopters with some spendable income will be there. They expect to sell in the millions of these, so we will wait and see how that goes. After the keynote address, there was a demonstration area where they had the Apple Vision Pros displayed. Here is the battery pack, about the size of a iPhone Pro Max, probably a little thicker, but they were not, you could not try them on. You could only look at them and take pictures of them. They were mock-ups, and they were not being able to be demonstrated on your head. So this is a notable quote from Tim Cook, that this is the first Apple device you look through, not at. So that is kind of describing this revolution in the way that you use a computing device. You look through it with augmented reality, not at it. So if you haven't already, please type in your questions or comments. And if you would be so kind as to share the GoFor Gazette with other people you know that use Apple devices. And if you're using Zoom, there is a new update to 5.14.10. And please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, so you'll be notified. Ring that little bell, and then you'll know when we go live. So, anybody have any questions about what we just saw? And as I mentioned before, there was over 2 hours in the keynote presentation, so I didn't want to try to pack all that information into one edition of Go for Lunch. So we'll be doing some more on WWDC announcements in future presentations on Go for Lunch. So if there's anything that you heard about that you'd like more details on, let me know. And usually during the week we learn more, a little bit more details on the things that were presented. So Carolyn says, holy moly, the advances in technology are really getting fancy. I'm not sure I can keep up with all of this, but I'll keep trying not to be a dinosaur. Well, good. So Apple is certainly appears to be doing everything in their power to make it easy for you to use this augmented reality headset. So it'll make things easier and more comfortable and more exciting, I think. So it's the new thing. And it's interesting, I've seen ads, and the ads give the impression that it's available now, but it is not available. They're saying early in 2024, but that could slip. There's been some rumors that some of the engineers working on the Apple Vision Pro think it's not ready for prime time. So, but Apple apparently thought they should get it out in the public and let people start thinking about it. And then apparently, because it's not available till next year, there's a lot of work still yet to be done before they can release it to you. and me. Another rumor is that there'll be a less expensive version, so-called consumer version, coming out probably in 2025. So there's that to look forward to. Okay, well, thanks again for joining me today. If you have any questions, you can email me or you can call me, and that contact information is coming up right now. So have a great rest of your day and your week.